Imagine you have been teleported into the future to the very last moment of your life. And as you lay there prepared to take your final breath, you ask yourself, if I could go back, how would I live my life differently? What do I really, really want? The first time I knew what I really, really wanted, I was 10 years old. I had just moved to my new neighborhood in Charleston, South Carolina, when I decided to go on a bike ride that would completely change my life. I was pedaling through the streets, taking in all the profound beauty, when all of a sudden something so beautiful captivated my eyes that I literally grabbed my brakes and came to a screeching halt. There she was. Her name was Jordan. She was the most gorgeous thing my eyes had ever seen, and she was my neighbor. I literally drop my bike, run home as fast as I can, swing open the screen door, run and jump into the arms of my mother, drop down on my knees and say, "Mama, I just met the woman I'm gonna marry." She's laughing too. She laughed so hard that the rest of my family gathers around, where I then go on to profess my grand master plan of how I think I'm going to win over the girl next door. I tell them, guys, there is no way she ain't going to fall in love with me, because I'm about to learn guitar and become a rock star. They're really laughing at this point. But 10 years later, when I'm playing sold-out shows across the country, writing and producing songs, reaching tens of millions of fans, and sharing stages with some of my favorite artists like Ed Sheeran, well, they ain't laughing no more. But they were crying in 2017 when I married the girl next door. You see, I had it all. I had the dream, I had the fame, I had the friends, I had the fancy travels around the world. I got the girl. I even got the dog. I mean, I literally got everything that I ever really, really wanted. And it still wasn't enough. I was still unhappy, and I wasn't alone. 86% of Americans are unhappy. 86%? And by the way, that includes people on antidepressants, millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, and rock stars. So for me, I just couldn't understand, how was it that I got everything that I ever really, really wanted in a time period of abundance and wealth in this culture, where I can sit on my lazy boy couch and have DoorDash drop off my grilled Chipotle burrito while I binge watch Netflix, and I'm still unhappy? What is it going to take? This question ignites a fire in my wife and I's life, where we become very passionate about this idea of waking up. But unfortunately for me, it wasn't until I faced what I thought was the last moment of my life that I truly woke up. I was sitting behind a tractor's trailer with my legs hanging off the edge as the tires were rotating, clipped my feet, pulled me under, and dragged me across the unforgiving asphalt. And as agonizing as the pain was, it did not compare to the pain of the heartbreaking news that my wife and I received when her lifelong best friend had taken her life to suicide. It was these combination of events that literally forced my wife and I to look deep inside of ourselves, to recalibrate and re-question, what do we really want from life? We noticed our insecurities, our self-doubt, our anxiety, the way we were always comparing ourselves to the world around us, and we said, enough is enough. And so we set off on a quest to search for the answer, how can I be happy? This quest led us to East Asia, where we ended up spending a summer being introduced to a completely new way of thinking, of being, and of living. And their way of life was very different than back at home in America. They had no stress, they were so free of worry. And I didn't get it because they had so little, yet were so happy. I'll never forget being in Indonesia one day. This very sweet old lady, she just grabs her hand out of nowhere and invites her into her house. And she's so warm and welcoming, and she's so proud to show us around her house. And for me, I'm not seeing anything. It's like a mud hut. There's no pictures, there's no fancy furniture, there's no smart TV. And then I see it. I see smiling faces. I see connected family laughing and talking. But I just couldn't get it. How is it that these people have so little, so why are they so happy? And that's when I learned they're not. You see, they possess a superpower far beyond a mere emotion. They possessed joy. Now, at first I'm confused. I'm like, joy, happiness, those are synonyms. I'm not really getting it. But when I learned the difference, it completely changed my life. Happiness is a temporary emotion based on circumstance. A temporary emotion based on circumstance. What happens after the sun rises? The sun sets. What happens after we climb to the peak of the mountain? We got to climb back down again and again and over. Happiness comes and it always goes. However, joy is a persistent mindset based on acceptance. Not a temporary emotion, but a persistent mindset. Not based on circumstance, based on acceptance. Acceptance of all circumstance, acceptance of all motion. Tapping into the moment and making the absolute most of it. Becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable. Not just enjoying the peak of the mountain, but falling in love with the entire journey. Wow. This idea is a paradigm shift in my wife and I's life, where we pivot our careers and dedicate our lives to giving this gift of joy back to the world, and especially to those who need it most, which to us is the youth. We become certified wellness coaches and life coaches specialized in empowering the modern youth, because today, the average 18-year-old in America has spent 5.6 years looking at screens. 5.6 years gone. It is no wonder that the anxiety rates, the addiction rates, the depression rates, the stress levels, and the suicide rates are at an all-time high. One of the first things my wife and I do when we start working with a teen or young adult is we sit down and we ask them the same question we asked a few moments ago. So I ask them, what do you really, really want? And they tell me all kind of things. You know, I want to be able to wake up in the morning and actually look forward to the day. I want to find out what my true purpose is. I want to become the first billionaire YouTube streamer, and for my mom and dad to finally get the hell off my back. But whatever their answer is I always follow it up with the question, why? Why do you want that? And this is where it gets really interesting, because almost every single time they give me the exact same answer. They tell me, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. We so often want something. We're always wanting something. You might want to itch your face right now, reposition your butt, maybe want a new phone, new car, new house. But we always want something. But at the end of the day, we just want to be happy, right? But here's the problem. Is if desire is what drives our lives, then why do we so often settle on our deepest desire being a temporary emotion? What if happiness is not the answer? What if happiness is the problem? Like chasing a rainbow. What if our persistent pursuit of pleasure is actually robbing us of something far greater? Our time. Buddha stated that the biggest mistake mankind can make is believing that we have time. And I don't know about you, but for me, time keeps passing by faster and faster and faster. And unfortunately, way too many of us are getting caught in the trap of wasting time, and especially the youth. We are living in a comparison-driven version of society that is bombarded with inescapable distractions, social media formulated algorithms that are made by the world's greatest neuroscientists so that we can endlessly scroll tomorrow more than we did today as we're hit with hyper-targeted advertisements that pry on our insecurities and sell us the idea that if you buy this product, you will be happy. And it works for a little bit. We've been told our entire lives that money can't buy happiness. And that might just be the biggest lie ever told. Of course you can. You can buy happiness. It's science. When we buy something, our brain releases feel-good neurochemicals that create the emotion that we call happiness. And you know what? In a world that's become addicted to instant gratification, that's really, really good for business. But is it really good for our lives? Is it really good for our mental health? For our friendships? Is it really good for the future of our families? What would it be like to trade our deepest desire of a fleeting feeling of happiness and to exchange it for a persistent mindset that is built on making the most of the moment, embracing all aspects of life, making the most of the highs and the lows, the sadness and the happiness, and the entire journey in between? To tap into that childlike wonder we once possessed so effortlessly, accepting of exactly who we are and where we are in life with an incredible thirst for adventure. And the irony is that if we did this, we would experience so much more happiness. And I believe each and every one of us deserve that right to this paradigm shift, for there is only one of you in this entire infinite universe, and the probability of your existence is beyond comprehension. And yet here you are, right here, right now, in this moment. And every moment that we are not present is a gift that is gone forever. So please, don't wait for your final moment to decide what you really, really want from life. Choose now, make the most of it, and enjoy.